got Joe here, and I am Dora Thomas. Today we are gonna give Joe clinic care peel. It's gonna be one that is for quite sensitive skin and is suitable for all skin type. We're gonna work on the universal AHA. It's a really good peel. It's mild and gently. So at this time of year, so we are now in November 2022, things are changing. We're putting on heating. We have perhaps had a summer where we have been outside a lot. So the texture of the skin can change a little bit, and the texture of the skin also changes for female and male actually. When we start going in our 40s, perimenopause, menopause, there's a lot about what's happening with our hormones that's affecting our skin. So Joe has already had one peel. This is a treatment that you do need to have a patch test for, so it's not one I want you to just book in. So you do book in for the patch test, and we will just put a little bit of the product on and see how your skin is reacting. So Joe, how do you describe having this treatment?
It feels quite prickly on the skin, and it builds up. You notice it's going on straight away. You feel the sensation of prickling on the skin, and I suppose it intensifies.
Yeah. So you kind of, I always say to you, from a scale of 1 to 10, how does this feel?
And that's lovely because it kind of keeps you thinking about the sensations on your skin, and Dora checks in constantly.
So we start with the cleanse. It's really important that we do that. Normally I would be wearing a mask. Joe is one of our lovely therapists here, and the benefit obviously of working in a Medik8 salon is that when we can, we do try and give each other treatments. I think it's important that we have the treatments that we offer you as well, because it's important that we know what it feels like, and I would never do anything to any of my clients I wouldn't do to myself. So we're gonna just have so I asked Joe today just to make it a bit shorter to arrive with no makeup, just to make it easier, because if you're coming in with lots of makeup and I'm spending time removing that, that's also gonna make your skin a little bit more sensitive. So we are gonna just remove all the cleanser. We are gonna also use something, so it's like a skin prep before we do the peel. Everything here is Medik8. I really like Medik8. I think it's a fantastic brand. I think the downtime with these treatments are really low. With some of the peels, there will be a little bit of an effect after a few days. Your skin is going to feel tight and dry, and sometimes there will be peeling, especially in the more exposed and damaged area. If you do peel, it will be like the thinnest paper, and it's really important that you don't pick it. You just leave it alone. You hydrate. If you pick it, you can actually compromise the skin, the healing. You can cause yourself a little bit of scarring. And the whole point of having a lovely peel is actually improving the skin texture instead of ruining it. So I'm gonna just put on some gloves now. So like I said, normally when we do facial treatment, we do wear masks, but you wouldn't be able to hear me, and obviously with my Danish accent, it sounds a little bit like I'm mumbling if I'm wearing a mask. So with this one, we can leave it up for 10 minutes. I prefer if we can, sometimes, at least if we have 3 minutes. So I will kind of check in and keep saying, what do you think? How is it feeling? Can you tolerate this? And so forth. So what we're going to do now is using a pre-peel solution. So it's kind of just taking the top oil off the skin, which means that the peel can penetrate deeper. Okay, can you hold your breath for me, Joe? With peels, you can also combine the treatments. You wouldn't do it in the same session, but you can alternate with needling, which is actually fantastic. So if we're doing that, I would always say let's start with a peel first to prep the skin, and then we will then, after about 4 weeks, get you in, and then we would perform a needling. I do like using crystal clear cup set because it's blowing out cold air at the same time. So these are a little bit of sensitive areas. So we're putting a little bit of Vaseline on to kind of protect the area. Turning around, and we're just going to put a little bit. I am going to cover the lips because you don't really want to have a peel on. And where there's a few little spots, I'm going to cover them as well. There we are. So now Joe is almost ready. I do like to cover the eyes a little bit as well because I think I don't really want any of the peels coming into the eye area. You can have a peel on your eye, but it's a special one for Medik8, and actually so it's not part of today's treatment. And we're going to start now. So last time Joe had that peel, when was that? 5 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 5 weeks ago.
Okay, I'm going to apply the peel. We're going to use a lovely little brush. And I'm actually timing it from when I'm putting the first layer on. So this is going to give Joe a lovely, lovely glow. It's going to provide with a nice, gentle exfoliation. Take away that little bit of roughness and dullness from the skin. With this one, we can repeat the Medik8 if you're just having them every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how sensitive your skin is. Now, Joe, how is this feeling now?
Yeah, it feels okay. A little bit prickly here and there.
So there is certain medication that if you're on, Oractane, for example, is one of them that we would want to wait doing that treatment about 6 months after you finish the course. There is certain things that we kind of are looking after for. So it's important that we do a thorough consultation to make sure that we are choosing the right treatment for you. Quite often on the first peel, I will actually perform this one first. After that, we can look into, we got our clarity, we got our even, we got some that helps with the pigmentation, the aging, if you're suffering with acne or spots or scarring. So we do have a lot on offer here. And again, sometimes we might then combine it, especially if there's a lot of acne scarring. We also got the radio frequency with needling. So that's quite a good one to go and have. We would probably have 4 weeks between treatments if we were going for that one. Now I'm going to just check in on Joe again. Joe, how would you say this one feels on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think this is sort of going towards a 5 now.
Okay, so we had it on for about 2 minutes. Would you say you're happy to continue?
Yeah, I'm happy to continue for a bit longer.
So I'm also looking out for frosting. Frosting is if you see the skin goes white, and that will indicate there's a lot of damage there. And if I see that, I will actually neutralize the peel straight away. It's not a bad thing, but it's just showing a lot of skin damage. So we don't want to keep a peel on if we can see that it can't penetrate any deeper. So at the moment I'm looking out for erythema, redness. I'm looking out for the frosting. I'm quite happy to keep this one on for a bit longer, so I'm just waiting for Jo to see how she's feeling. If she's saying, daughter, this is a 10, I will immediately neutralize the peel. So how would you say this feel like now?
Yeah, it's increasing, probably getting up to about 6 or 7 now.
Okay. So you're finding this really helps with the texture of your skin, doesn't it?
Oh, so much so. Yeah, it looked so much younger. It had more of a glow to it. You know, my pores seemed much, you know, sort of minimalised. Yeah, it was really lovely.
Also, we're both women in our 40 something. We won't reveal how old we are, but it's important that we look after our skin. And actually, one of the simplest things I tell people is to make sure they're hydrated. Drinking lots of water. If you're a coffee drinker, try and minimize it to 2, but knowing that you need to drink extra water for the kidneys and liver to flush out the caffeine as well. Alcohol affects the skin as well, sadly. So if you do drink alcohol, try and keep it, have at least 3 or 4 days off in a week, where you may be having herbal tea, or there's a nice drink called Trips as well that I you know, personally I like having. It's sparkling and it feels quite relaxing. And diet as well is really, really important. So quite often what's going on inside your hormones is affected by your diet too. So when you come and see any of us for any facial treatments, basically, we will kind of try and talk to you what's going on, what's your lifestyle, how often do you cleanse. It's really important at night time that you at least have 2 cleanses. The first is to remove the makeup. Second, products. If you've got SPF, I sometimes even have 3 cleansers at night. I still cleanse in the morning after my shower. Simply because we've been sweating and our lymphatic system excrete, obviously, but it does it all the time, but it kind of gets rid of toxin. Now I'm checking back in. How are you feeling?
I think it's feeling a little bit itchy and prickly, like.
Okay.
We're getting towards a 9.
All right, shall we now neutralize?
How long was that? Was that a bit longer than
that
last
was
time?
much longer. So I've got a little bit here where I've already put neutralizing on. So we'll put some of that on.
So for me, it gets to the point where I want to touch my face. It's
Itch.
kind of, I want to itch. So that's when I think that,
this is enough. You've done it.
That's enough.
You've done enough.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fine. You've done so much longer. So often the first one, your tolerance perhaps will only be 3 minutes or 2.5. That's fine. It's not a waste. The peel is still going to do its work. After that, we will then try and build it up. So I've already put a bit of neutralizing spray on here. I'm going to put a little bit more on. Sometimes when we're neutralizing, it can sting a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
We want to make sure we have removed it all. I'm going to just put the neutralizing spray over one more time after I've swiped up all the products. So what I can see now here is a lot of erythema and redness. The skin feels a bit hot. All of this is perfectly normal. It's from some of the signs I want to see. Jo, can you keep your eyes shut for me? There we are. I'm going to just wipe this off. And how is it feeling now?
Yeah, it's starting to feel less itchy.
So we're going to give it a quick little cleanse to remove everything off. So it's really important to also, after any treatments, but actually something you should be doing daily, is to wear an SPF. Now, it's quite tricky and a bit confusing at the moment. So when I see my clients, I actually tell them to make sure they look out for saying UVA and UVB. So even on November or December day and it's cloudy outside, the UVA and B rays from the sun are still penetrating, and they're the ones that are damaging to our skin. So causes skin cancer, it causes unwanted blemishes, it's causing it's causing premature aging. So looking after your skin with that is really, really important. I think the younger people are a bit luckier because us as moms probably have a lot more awareness and have kind of gotten used to using that as well. So in an earlier age compared to what we did. So how is this feeling now, Jo?
Yeah, it's feeling good. Yeah. It's not itching. It's not itching anymore, and it sort of just feels a bit warm.
Yeah. So
there's a few little areas like around my nostrils. It feels a tiny bit prickly, and a little bit on my hairline, but it's.
So I'm gonna in a second grab a fantastic product from Cryoaesthetic. It's their Cryo Globe, and we used them for a lot of the facials, but this is going to help take that sting and heat away. So we're just toning to make sure everything is removed. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. Here we are. So now I'm going to use a product from Medik8 called the Hydro B5. So after a peel, it's quite normal that it feels dry. Your skin gets really thirsty. So it's important that you hydrate it, that you're giving it all the nourishment it needs. Things with hyaluronic acid as well. It's really important to put on. It's important that you don't do any home peels or scrubs for quite a while at home. To be honest, I prefer if you're coming in and we're doing a course that you're going to let me deal with a lot of that first. So this is going to just feel really cool and soothing on the skin. I'm going to use the Cryo Globe, and it's frozen to -23, and we're going to just start massaging that on the skin. When you have micro needling and you've got a mask on afterwards, if you're using the crystal clear composite, quite often that feels really nice as well. That we'll be using the Cryo Globe. So Jo, what would you describe your face feeling like now?
The Cryo Globe is lovely. It's so soothing over the warm areas. So there's a sort of few places where it starts to feel a little bit sort of warm and itchy, but the main part of the itching stop just feels a little bit warm probably, which is why the Cryo Globe is so nice. It's amazing actually because it does, the Cryo Globe with the product sort of takes all of the stinging away.
Yeah, it is actually a really good thing to buy for home use as well. They help with lymphatic drainage, it depuffs as well if your face feels a little bit puffy. So I'm going to just use it for a little bit and then we're going to use one of the Medik8's, the Ultimate Recovery Intense Cream, and that's really going to go in and do a little bit extra magic, and it feels fantastic to have on the skin. And does it feel hot anywhere else now, or is it all kind of feeling calm?
It's feeling really calm actually.
So that's it. I'm going to stop that and we're going to finish off. So this is a fantastic lunch hour treatment. I don't recommend that you put makeup on afterwards. I prefer that you leave that for 24 to 40 hours depending on what you're using. If it's a mineral based one, I think it's fine to put after 24 hours. And also we say to you, don't have hot showers or bath, exercise, going in a jacuzzi or steam either, because that's just going to make it irritating as well. So there's a little bit of aftercare, not too much. I also asking you to put a nice good SPF on with UVA and UVB. So we're going to do that for Joe as well. So I'm putting the physical sunscreen on, factor 50. And then for Jo, she can have this repeated in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful. We do have our own website, and that is daughterthomasandco.co.uk. You can book treatments there. We have a Facebook as well, Daughter Thomas and Co again. We are a small team here, award-winning as well. I won the bronze skin experts in the south and west of the UK. As a salon, we won a few awards as well. So we're always trying for the best. We're always trying to offer the best treatments. We got an amazing skin scanner where we can see on a kind of a 3D level what's going on. A lot of things that maybe you're not aware of, and from there on you can also decide what's the best treatment for you. So thank you. Bye. Oh, it's looking fantastic. Yeah, really good.
Thank you.
Really good.
It's funny because the one